હવે આપણે એક એવી સ્પર્ધા તરફ આગળ વધવા જઈ રહ્યા છીએ કે જે સ્પર્ધા અત્યારે બહુ જ જરૂરી છે, જેનું નોલેજ બહુ જ જરૂરી છે. તમારે કંઈ રજૂ કરવું છે, તમારે કંઈ ટૂંકામાં કહેવું છે અને તમારી પાસે એ ટૂલ બહુ જ ઉપયોગી ટૂલ તમારી પાસે હાજર છે, દેટ ઇઝ પાવર પોઈન્ટ પ્રેઝન્ટેશન. પાવર પોઈન્ટ પ્રેઝન્ટેશનમાંથી પસંદગી પામેલી કૃતિ છે જીલ ડી બારડની, જે ડિપાર્ટમેન્ટ ઓફ ઇંગ્લિશમાં છે. આ તબક્કે આપણા લોક લાડીલા વિભાવરીબેન દવે આપણી વચ્ચે ઉપસ્થિત છે, તેમનું હું સ્વાગત કરું છું. અને હવે માણીએ પાવર પોઈન્ટ પ્રેઝન્ટેશન બારડ જીલ ડી, ડિપાર્ટમેન્ટ ઓફ ઇંગ્લિશ.
Good evening everyone. I am Zil Barad from Department of English, and today's topic for the PowerPoint presentation is what can we do about climate change and our roles. Next slide. Climate change is such a major issue that in the recent Miss Universe contestant in 2021, the finalists were asked the question about the climate change. Many people think climate change is a hoax, and the person who won the crown of Miss Universe, Harna Sandhu, answered, "Prevent and protection is better than repair and repent." Next slide. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about the personal attempt, government policies, Sanskritization, our roles, and conclusion. Next slide. Personal attempts are very much necessary for the safeguarding our environment and fighting against climate change. We cannot only rely on the government to work. And at personal level, our role models can be Greta Thunberg. She is Swedish environmental activist and running a campaign, Friday for Future. Then Ramveer Tanwar, who is famous as the pond man of India. And Tulsi Gowda. She has won Padma Shri recently and famous as Encyclopedia Women of the Forest. Next slide. But the threat for these personal attempts can be the government policies. Government is making policies for the development of the region, and the policies are the construction of the roads and construction of the dams and the buildings. This can be threat for the personal attempts because for the government policies, we need to give our area or a region where we are working for the environment. This type of incident took place in the Mumbai. There the government decided to destruct the forest for the construction, but the people of Mumbai stood against the government for the protection of the forest, and the forest was safeguarded. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. Sanskritization. Our India is very much proud for the eco-spiritualization. In the ancient period, tribal people of the India were believing to God's existence in the nature. They were not destructing to the environment or a forest and was not allowing others to destruct the forest, which resulted into the Chipko movement in 1937. But what we are doing today? For the prayers, we are turning towards the temples and idols. We are constructing temples in the region like mountains, and that example is Palitana Setrunji mountains. We are constructing temples and destroying the environment, which is the gift by nature, gift by God, which should be safeguarded and is giving us life. And the recent incident of Vaishnav Devi stampede. The stampede was caused because so many people went for the prayer. And as the result, now the administration will think to increase the area for the walking. And for the increment of the area, the environment, beside the walking area, environment along will be destroyed to increase the walking area. Next slide. This, we discuss the reasons why the climate change is taking place. The major thing we should learn is what can we do for the protection of the environment and fighting against the climate change. What are the role of a common people? We can change basic things in our routine by using less plastic, using public transportation, and storing the rainwater. There is one literary work written by Henry David Thoreau, Walden or the Life in the Woods in 1854, in which the writer is discussing about the life which he spent in the forest with the essential goods which is necessary in everyday life, which is guiding for the minimalistic lifestyle. We can grow more trees and taking care of the trees. But planting trees, the major issue is about the space. That is also resolved by the terrace gardening idea and the Japanese technique, that is Miyawaki technique. And as we discussed in the recent slide, the religious practices. Johara Ram, the member of Bishnoi of Rajasthan, has also said, any change in the world has to begin within the society. All this talk about climate change would be more effective if each individual was to believe in the earth as a living, breathing entity and fight for its survival the way we do. Next slide. In the conclusion, I would like to say that in today's modern educational system, there is no space for the younger generation to learn about the tradition and the culture, especially about that how our ancient used to see towards the environment. So they don't have any idea. They are learning about the culture and tradition which is specially superstitious. Because student today is leader for tomorrow, we should give knowledge to students that how environment is necessary. So when they become the leader, they can make the policies in the favor of environment. Today we have turned living a materialistic and lavish life, which is increasing mass production, and the factories are polluting the environment. We should start living a minimalistic lifestyle. Next slide. These are my references. Next slide. Thank you.
प्रथम बारड झील डी डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ इंग्लिश प्रथम बारड झील डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ इंग्लिश सेकंड शेख इशरत जहां ए शांतिलाल शाह एंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज द्वितीय में बे छे शेख इशरत जहां अने पारेख वीरम के आर दोशी कॉलेज ऑफ कॉमर्स અને તૃતીયમાં ભટ્ટ પ્રાર્થના સ્વામિનારાયણ કોલેજ ઓફ કોમર્સ. ફર્સ્ટ બારડ झील डी, દ્વિતીય શેખ ઇશરત જહાં